we tend to think rap music is this just aggressive art form, only the poor people do it, or whatever the case may be. And I don't know what all the other stigmas around rap music, right? I come from, my grandfather put out the first rap album. He's from the Watts Prophets. They get sampled every year. Some of the biggest artists. I've didn't have the luxury of meeting some of my favorite artists solely because of the lineage, legacy, right? So I understand clearly what rap music is and what it ain't. And to start off, rap music simply means to talk. That's point blank period. We like to put this big ass definition. You're rhyming and you're trying to do it in this way. You're trying to just poet. No, you're just talking, right? And certain people just talk better than other people. Certain people know how to rhyme naturally better than other people. And it's just a natural thing in their cadence to where when you hear it, you'd be like, oh damn, nigga talking smooth as hell. Those were rappers back in the day. And I think the clearest example of that, right? And at least for us to see, is the Pimps. How they just naturally rhyme and it's just how they talk. They're rappers. They just don't rap. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so rap just means to talk. And it was something that came from Africa. You know, you can read into this chapter or go to my grandfather's stuff too, because he talks a lot about the actual origins and, you know, how we all came from Ghana, multiple different languages, you know, how it really like scoped it. It was something that we crafted as a people just for communication, just so we knew how to talk to each other. But then over time, it started adapting into things. Like Grandpa uses the perfect example. When I say the word adapt to its environment, they called a house a crib or a pad. Next generation, it was a spot. Next generation, it was, you get what I'm saying? Pad, crib, spot. Like it changes within every generation, or how we can say, oh, that's cool, or that's sick. And we really mean that's bad. You know, just certain levels of deceit and stuff like that. We was cultivating that between our people. Like I said before, my grandfather talks a lot about this, right? So I feel like he can explain these things probably a little bit better than I can, because he's more comfortable actually talking about that, right? But it came from Africa, right? It was nothing that was new, in other words, until they put out that album and named it Rapping Black in a White World, right? Now, the title, Rapping Black in a White World, Black Voices on the Streets and Watts, right? Look at the time period that album was released. They released those albums in 1969, late 60s. That's when rap music actually started, right? That was the era where King and Malcolm and all that other type of stuff, that was the uproar. And right before that album was released, the Watts riots had happened, right? So during that time period where Malcom X and King and stuff like that, they were very militant. They were rapping for a cause, right? Especially once we start bringing up the aggressive and senseless attitude. Malcom X represented that a lot, because who did he speak for? He spoke for the streets. King did, quote unquote, but he was more in a educated, political, corporate, like his delivery was a lot different than Malcolm. Malcolm was like, hate it, love it. I'm a little bit more aggressive and potent with what I'm saying, but it's still the truth, right? A way of self-expression, in other words. That first rap album, Rapping Black in a White World, you see the militancy behind the music. They were rapping about what was actually going on in their environment. Hence why it sounds aggressive, why it sounds senseless, because they were dealing with senseless and aggressive environments and things being done to them. So it was a direct correlation of what was happening in the environment. So when you tie that into rap music and stuff that's happening today, we'd be like, oh, these rappers just talk about gang banging, and these rappers like they're not doing anything. Like, they're literally talking about what's happening to them. If they weren't dealing with aggressive environments and senseless attitudes, they wouldn't feel the need to talk about that aggressiveness and senseless attitudes. They're simply articulating the things that they're going through. And if you pay close attention, that's exactly what rap was started to do. It was a representation of what was happening in the community and what they were feeling. So yeah, they're not senseless. They may be a little bit aggressive, but they're not senseless. They know exactly what they're saying, because they wouldn't be doing it for no reason, right? So that's one of the things, right? Rap came from, people talking in poetry, jazz, in other words, poetry and jazz, gave an opportunity for the people who's been silenced to be heard. It gave them an area of expression, right? Now, my grandfather also, once again, goes deeper into how hip hop was used as a construct to break apart that unity. Rap brought unity, right? We started getting on beats. Well, not we. They started getting on beats right after the Watts riots, talking about burn their shit down, send them to jail, kill them, like literally like real militant type attitudes. That needed to be switched around. And he said there was meetings and stuff like that where they were using hip hop as a form of putting the masses in prison. Is you like taking over the conversation. That's why people say that we don't own our music, we don't own our voice. That's why people say the bad stuff get promoted more on radio and more publicity than the good things. It's true, because that's hip hop. But rap, just the art form of talking and using your voice, Malcom X and Martin Luther King were rapping. They just didn't have no beat behind them. My grandpa was saying, look at Malcom X. That nigga was very poetic. Ballad of the Bullet. You get what I'm saying? That was rap. They didn't need no beat. They were just keeping it real. I'm gonna say what's on my chest. If it rhymes, it rhymes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it sounds cool, it sounds cool. But I need to say this because I can't just keep living in silence. Silence is hurting us more than saying it out loud. I'd rather deal with the repercussions of saying it out loud. That's honestly what rap music is right now. And it's been very put in a box. We have stigmas around it, or what we perceive it to be, because we don't actually understand what it was used for and why we even have it as an art form in the first place. And crazy enough, people say that hip hop is damaging everybody. We dominate hip hop. Our words dominate hip hop. Our spirits aren't dumb. We know how to articulate ourselves in a way where it sounds like we're trying to send people down the wrong path, but we're actually leading them straight to the lake. And it's crazy because Nip came into mind when I started saying that. If a foreign ear listened to Nip, you would just hear gangbang. You would just hear dumb shit. You would hear destruction. That was probably on purpose. He reps his hood and all that other type of shit, and damn near every single song. It sounds very aggressive and senseless. But the ones who are actually from the community, we hear the underlying message in that. You're not telling me to go do that. You're telling me not to go do that and go do this. Oh, I heard you, bro. They might not have heard you. We hear you. And that's why we fuck with them, right? That's what I'm talking about when I say rap. It's really how you use it. And once you understand why it was even a thing in the first place, you know how to use it going forward. Look at what Kendrick did. Kendrick is a prime example of using what rap was actually meant to do and what it was actually put here for to benefit him, right? If he went by the constructs of, I don't think I should say this might ruin my image, this may close doors, whatever the case may be, and just went by the sheet, went by what people were telling him, he wouldn't have had the Super Bowl hit him up. He wouldn't have had all the back end opportunities that came from him saying fuck it. In other words, using what rap was actually meant to do. Free yourself. If you have something to say, get it off your chest. That's it. Like, Yeah, man. We have so many examples of people doing it, right? Nip and I believe YG kind of sparked it when they did that FDT track, right? Watts Prophets, that trip was crazy. They were saying a lot more potent things than just F the president. This is a reoccurring thing, and if you study the people who make very big, potent like changes in the music scene, at least, it's usually the ones who say fuck it. Well, let's see. So yeah, love y'all, love your art form, and take care of it. I'll see y'all in the next video, man. I'm done.